For gardeners, late spring in the mountains means it's time to start preparing their plots and getting starter plants ready to go into the ground. We talked with Susan Emenaker from Colorado Alpines and Wildflower Farm in Edwards about what plants thrive in the high country and how to get your garden started.
One of the challenges is that we have a very short growing season. I've lived in the mountains and been doing gardening in the mountains for almost 40 years. I have had plants freeze and had freezing temperature every month out of the year. On the 4th of July, I lost plants one year. So there is no month that you are frost-free. Lettuces, spinach, any of the root crops, so beets, carrots, radishes, potatoes, onions, Swiss chards, all those things do well in our cooler climate. You can plant them before the last frost comes. Plants that you would start inside would be things like peppers or tomatoes, any squash, any cucumbers, beans. Those plants cannot take cold nights at all. So you have to wait really until the soil temperature has warmed up to about 50 to 60 degrees. So to start plants, you usually use a seed tray, and you can either use a seedling mix or you can get seed trays that have little either peat pots or cocoa coir pots that swell when you add water to them and then start the seeds in there. You need to use a lightweight potting soil to start seeds, because if you use a heavy soil, you won't have very much success with your seeds. So you start your seeds, they need a lot of light, they need heat, and they need high humidity. All of these come with little domes that you put over it to raise the humidity around the seeds when they're starting to sprout. Then the plant grows for a little bit, you wait, and what starter plants is just young plants for customers to buy so that then they can take that and put it into a larger pot or put it into the garden. This is a starter little tomato plant that has been potted in. The seedling started in a pot, was moved to this size. You would pot it from this size when it gets a little bit taller than this. The reason I would say this one isn't ready yet is when you tip it over, you want the roots to be really well developed before you plant it into the next size up. The other thing you do with tomato plants is you thin it down. Right now there are 3 little tomato plants in there. When you repot it and put it into the larger size, you pick the one healthiest plant that you will keep. This is one that was potted probably about 3 weeks ago. Looked like this, now it looks like this. So once you pick the one healthy, sturdiest one, then they will just start taking off. We of course have them in the greenhouse where it's still really warm and they're growing. We also put them in a potting soil that we've mixed some all organic slow release fertilizer into, so that helps to them go ahead and grow well while they're in the greenhouse and before the customer takes them home.